Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back. Alex StarCraft here, bringing you guys another StarCraft 2 commentary, this time from the past weekend's Red Bull Battlegrounds held in Austin, Texas, casted by the oh-so-wonderful Day 9 Husky StarCraft. Oh, who are the other two? Day 9 Husky StarCraft. Oh, goodness. How am I forgetting this? Who were third and fourth? Rob Simpson and DJ Wheat. That is who it was. Day 9 Husky StarCraft, Rob Simpson and DJ Wheat. Great job to all of them. However, they did release the replays, which means that people like me who don't have that much of a following and need good replays to do some casting for can do these casts. And of course, we can all see their builds. And this game is going to be between two very, very top-level Zerg players. In the, I guess you'd say 6 o'clock position, not bottom middle corner, we have Empire's Violet, the blue Zerg. Oh god. And in the top right-hand corner, or the 3 o'clock position, we have the red Zerg, Millennium's Stephano, of course, of Team Millennium. Now, there is a little bit of history behind these two players as of late. In the recent MLG Spring Arena, Stephano and Violet both made the top 3. Stephano getting third, Violet making first. What ended up happening is Violet and Stephano both made it all the way through the winner's bracket, not dropping a game. They then played each other, two very epic games. I'll just note really quick, we're seeing hatch firsts out of both players. That is very standard, of course. But then what ended up happening is they had to play each other. Stephano ended up losing to Violet 2-0. So Stephano was then knocked to the loser's bracket to play TSL Symbol, that is Team SCV Life's Symbol. Very good Zerg versus Zerg player. Recently won the Iron Squid tournament, or I should say came in second place in the Iron Squid tournament over MMA of Team Slayers. And then he ended up losing 0-2 to Symbol as well, so Stephano was knocked out of the tournament, hence getting third place. And then Symbol ended up advancing to play Violet in the finals, where Violet took the series 3-1. Some very, very great Zerg versus Zerg games. No early game Baneling victories for either player, as a matter of fact. As I recall, both games went into very late, huge Roach Infestor play with some Hive Tech involved, Nidus Worms, drops, some crazy, crazy stuff right there. Great series, and I'm imagining we're going to see one equally as great out of these two players, because while Stephano did go 0-4 in ZVZ on that particular day in the finals, he was also very hungover, from what I understand. He was out partying with Dignitas's Bling until about 4 or 5 in the morning the day before, and he made no effort to hide it. So hopefully he will be in tip-top shape and will have refined his ZVZ for this rematch with Violet. Now, to the game, we saw both players immediately go for that hatch first, followed, of course, by a gas and pool. The timings were about the same for both players. And here is where we see a little bit of variation from the players. Now we see that Violet is choosing to lose 3 guys on his gas. Stephano choosing only to leave 2. And once again, I'm sure this is intentional. It is an early part of the game. He wants to have enough gas that maybe he can get the Banelings a little bit faster if need be, and get a few more if his opponent decides to go for some big Baneling aggression, which we might see here in a second. But at the same time, he wants that slightly supplemented mineral income. Considering he is 2 drones behind right this moment, though of course he'll be ahead in just a second, I think. No, he's... Okay, wait. There should be a few more drones, whatever. They're pretty equal on drones, so of course early game, particularly in these mirror matchups, and for a race that is economy-centric like Zerg, 1 drone can make all the difference. Now we do see Stephano throwing up the spine. His Ling speed is a little behind, so he's going to be a little bit defensive. Now he might have had these 2 drones on since the beginning, and that might be the reason why his metabolic boost is about 20 seconds behind that of his opponents. I didn't actually see because I was blathering on. Right now we do see some defensive Banelings morphing in from Violet. However, those are not going to be used offensively. And of course, one beautiful thing to note from Stephano is his Overlord spread. He actually has the 1 Overlord close outside his opponent's base, so he's plenty of time to react if his opponent is going to be going for some Baneling aggression. However, he also has a lot of guys, one checking the third, and the others are actually on what is essentially the counter-attack route. You see up here where it would normally not be seen if your opponent wants to go attack your third, and Stephano has that totally covered. So very great decision from him. Now he's opting to get all of his gases right this second, and Violet doing the exact same. You see both players getting that around that 45-ish food when they 41 drones. That is, of course, that 2 base saturation. You want to have about 2.5 rows of units each one. Looks like Stephano did attempt to sneak some units in there, but Violet with the well-placed baneling denying any of that scouting. So we do see the Violet Slayer is going to be a bit earlier than Stephano's in this game. Stephano actually still choosing to not get it. Instead, he's opting to get these double evolution chambers, and is going to be working on that fast 1-1 upgrade, which that is automatically a tell for going roach play. In Zerg versus Zerg, if you go double evolution chamber, you are almost always going to be going for roaches. For Mulisks, you know, the upgrades don't come out of the Evo chamber, so you didn't do. But Stephano actually opting to go for that +1 melee attacks. So we might see some interesting play here. Stephano actually might be going Mutaling, maybe with some heavily upgraded Lings, placing a greater emphasis on those. He also might be trying to do something like Ling and Fester. Now we do see some great little bit of micro from Stephano here, keeping all those banelings alive. Now Violet and Leche must have mistaken. Now before I see whether he's got it to third, he is going to see a lot of units running in here. Stephano does manage to trade 2 banelings for 2. That is a fine trade. Now Violet definitely sees this. Now he is going to try and force a cancel. And is he going to get it? Yes, he does force the cancel and kills the drone. So that is a bit of a big deal. Stephano does manage to keep this alive, and we see him doing some wonderful zoning, making sure the Zerglings can knock it out. And can he get a hit? No, the Zerglings do run out. Baneling trading for baneling. And while his third was denied, it's not the end of the world because of the fact that Violet is not grabbing a third of his own. Now we see he has spined up. There's a good number of Lings. We see him being aggressive and doing some good scouting with these. And he is going to be going for Mutalisks behind this. And now the Spire is about 10 seconds, 5 seconds now from finishing. Stephano, of course, does have currently, it looks like 2 queens on the field, yeah, 3 queens on the field. That is what I thought. I was wondering, why do I see 2 queens here if he only has 2 in total? And he's going to do a little bit of a counterattack. Actually, might be able to snipe the third. We'll have to see if he can make anything happen. And of course, he has these evolution chambers, which let him get the spore crawlers, as we see him doing. He's just doing 1 in the main, and that is it. And we see 8 Mulisks on the way for his opponent. Stephano with some nice micro, going to try and pick off a baneling with just a Ling. And in the meantime, from the opportunity he gets from driving away that baneling, he's going to be going ahead and running down into the third. He's going to see, is he going to be able to force a cancel? And now he has to be careful. He doesn't want to lose too much to that baneling. We see him microing back, splitting his Zerglings a bit, only loses 2 to that. He is going to be able to overwhelm his opponent's Zerglings right here. And now he is going to be attacking this hatchery right now, and he is more rallying in. Now, if we look at the minimap, we see Violet does actually not have a whole lot of Zerglings, merely because of the fact that he's focusing on these mutas. He's going to be focusing on trying to do some harassment now. They immediately run in and do focus down a queen. Some of the mutas taking a fair amount of damage. This one about to go down. It does go down, so that's a nice little win for Stephano right there. He has his 2 other queens. He is immediately pulling them back together towards the hatchery. I think there was a transfuse on it right there, so nice from him, and the spore crawler is about to pop. So we see Stephano with 2 more queens in production. He's actually kind of scrambling to hold off these mutas. He has a bunch more spore crawlers in production as well, but the 1 spore crawler is going to be enough. And in the meantime, if you're watching the minimap, Stephano actually did deny this third. Whether he did force a cancel or whether it was just killed, I'm not entirely sure. If it was killed, definitely great for him, and he's going to be running away with a slightly inferior Zergling number right there. Well, it looks like Stephano is possibly at risk of losing this third. Violet does have about, 6 mulas sitting right here, and Stephano does have Infestors on the way. But Infestors, 1, not the fastest unit in the world, and 2, while they can kill air units, they don't kill air units, and they definitely don't save a hatchery. There's only this much left. They do not transfuse. And now Violet, having sniped his opponent third, is going to go ahead and run out while he has his own third halfway done. We see Stephano running in with a bunch of Zerglings. Is he going to be able to deny Violet's third? Violet is way out of position, and oh my goodness, this is like a third denying party over here. These Zerglings getting it so very quickly, and it looks like they are going to force a cancel. Violet does not actually cancel it. So that is going to be 300 minerals down the drain. Looks like he was hopeful that he would maybe be able to manage it, but the Mutalisks are back now, but there's actually nothing. They cannot kill the Zerglings that fast, and the Zerglings actually going to town on these drones. So I'll take a look at the workers killed cap after this. So he's going to be chasing them all the way, and they're killing a good number of them. So he actually has killed 22 workers in total this game. Now he's only up 60 to 57, but we see him double expanding behind this. So very kind of risky play out of Stephano right here. So if you take a look at the players' upgrades, we see Stephano's about to finish 2-2. Violet does not have that +1 flyer attack like you will see so often. and he has his +2/+2 just started, but it is going to be for roaches, not for zerglings. So it looks like Stephano is indeed going to be going for a mutiling composition, but here we go. We see Violet starting off on that roach production, and this is quickly probably going to catapult him ahead in supply, and it's going to be tough for Stephano. Oh my god, the hive is already on the way. The hive is already 66 seconds underway. That means it's about 2/3 of the way done, and we are only 13.5 minutes into the game, so it looks like Stephano, well, these lings and infestors are not going to be the most effective thing in the world against roaches. He is going to be rushing for that hive tech very, very quickly here. Going to be getting some very good upgrades. And when these finish, he's going to go ahead and be able to jump right, or the 2/2 is finished. So he's going to be able to jump right into those 3/3 upgrades along with the adrenal glands and go for whatever hive tech he chooses. Now, because of the fact that he doesn't yet have a spire, and he already has these 2/2 upgrades for his melee attacks and his carapace, I would not be surprised to see him go for ultras, just because, you know, that would make the most sense. And Ultralisk Infestor is actually ridiculously effective versus roach-based armies, because the fact that, of course, ultras do a lot of damage versus these roaches, and roaches, just like any ground unit, have quite a tendency to clump up. And of course, the infestors make it so the roaches, you know, they can't run if they burrow. They are still seen. If when they were fungal, they were not already burrowed, then they cannot burrow. And wow, this is a lot of infestors right here for Stephano. If we take a look, all of these ones are actually more or less full energy. So he has about 6 full energy infestors if we look right here, as well as a whole bunch of zerglings and a whole bunch of other infestors. So what tech is he doing? We do see the Ultralisk in the production tab. It is almost completed. We do see that +3 melee attack on the way. He does not quite have the gas for carapace at this moment, just now getting up his 6th gas. I would love to see him get his 8th up very soon, because of course that is the limiting factor for any races late game, but particularly Zergs, I would say. You see Zergs often versus Protoss or Terran like to get up to, 4, 5, 6, 7 bases, get up to 10 gases mining at once, so they can get as many Broodlords, Roaches, Infestors as they want to and as they need to. This looks like Stephano is going to be transferring a few guys over here and immediately grabbing those gas geysers. Also moving a Spore Crawler, so very smart decision from him. It's going to be really slow once it gets off the creep. But, of course, that will defend from any little bit of Mutalisk harassment. It does look like Stephano, I saw him sending out 3 infestors earlier. I'm assuming they did indeed get spotted by this Overseer and unfortunately picked off. If we look at the units lost tab, we see both players, wow, only differentiating by 24 minerals. Oh, what I just hit. I hit F. What did that do? Okay, well, the resources lost is still the same, so it can't be that bad. And oh my god, Stephano now has Ultralisks. The Ultralisks have +3, and oh my goodness, there was a Nidus Worm going off in the main for Empire Violet. He runs all his infestors, and looks like he's going to be trying to run a lot of roaches out here. And yes, he does unload them. Stephano scrambling to do it. Now, of course, these Ultras are not stopped by fungal growth, so with the very quick reactions, the infestors doing a lot of damage here. But you see, to all these roaches and infested Terrans in low numbers, the Ultras are simply not sufficient. So he's going to be going ahead and pulling out for a second, waiting for his infestors. In the meantime, he's going to be counterattacking with some ultras and infestors of his own, spewing out a lot of infested Terran. And he did lose his macro hatchery. He lost, it looks like, his roach war, and he lost quite a few buildings here, and he's about to lose his hive. But the thing is, he already has the hive tech up now. It looks like he is going to be able to snipe the 3rd of his opponent. These ultras running rampant around the 4th of his opponent. And with this fungal growth, looks like Stephano is going to be able to clean up this army. And Violet actually still has all his infestors burrowed in the main base of Stephano, that they might be able to escape by hopping into that Nidus Worm, but he really has to be careful. Looks like Stephano is going to be able to overwhelm that, but at the same time, he did actually lose his 4th expansion over here to contingency of about 8 roaches, but now we see Stephano with a nice fungal on the ramp, throwing out a few infested Terran, which unfortunately will kill those infested Terran before, or throwing out a few roaches, which can kill those infested Terran before they really do anything. But oh my god, the Ultra finally falling. On shame, I couldn't see how many kills they had, but we do see that Stephano was able to kill the 3rd and 4th of his opponent. His opponent's only on 1 base, barely mining on the other one, so he's essentially 1 base. That is why I said that. And now he does manage to clean up his own harass. So while Stephano is only on 3 bases, all 3 of them are essentially mining. Violet is really only on 2 bases. Only one of them just now getting up, the 4th expansion just going up now as well. But if we take a look at the income, we see Violet is definitely hurting. He's about half his opponent's mineral income, which you see both players, they both desperately need gas and minerals, and it does look like Violet's going to poke in, and he's actually going to be able to snipe his opponent's natural expansion as well. And we'll see that's going to fall very fast unless the ultras come in, fungal growth going off, and oh my god, Violet actually not opting to focus down the hatchery right there, and that is really unfortunate for him. That would have definitely hurt Stephano, as we see that this actually has almost every single patch still up, and while a lot of them only have about 100 to 200 minerals, you know, 100 to 200 minerals times 8 patches, that's 1600 minerals, aka, what is that, like 64 Zerglings? Or is it more than that? I don't know. So yeah, 64 Zerglings, I think that's right. 64 Zerglings with 3 and adrenal glands. That makes a pretty big difference. So it looks like Stephano is going to be pushing back across the map. Violet was still with an Overseer here and still with that Nidus Worm. So Stephano, of course, has to be wary of that. He has Overseers actually in both sides of Stephano's bases. But it looks like, wow, he has a lot of Ultras right here. And what does Violet actually have? He has all of these Roaches. But I can imagine, or you guys can imagine, I'm sure, one Fungal right on here and then Ultras just cleaving the entire thing about. It looks like both units or armies are actually going to cross each other. Violet burrowing his Infestors, moving out across the map, which Stephano will see. And he's going to send a bunch of his Lings and one of his Ultras, or 2 of his Ultras, into his opponent's bases and send the rest back. He says, I'm confident I can clean up with this. And what happened right here? More Infestors running in, doing more work over here. But where was there a Nidus Worm? There was a Nidus Worm somewhere, wasn't there? Am I crazy? Looks like I don't actually see one on the minimap. I'll have to find where that is later. But we do see Roach contingencies from Violet heading into all of Stephano's mining expansions. In the meantime, these Zerglings doing so much damage. Violet wisely burrowing his drones, saving them for as long as they can be saved. But his 3rd expansion goes down. He's now essentially mining off of 4 patches, which are almost mined out. This expansion actually not going after Stephano, burrowing his Roaches. Very wise decision from him as well. Manages to save those and manages to save his 3rd expansion. 4th about to complete, and these Infestors are still burrowed right here. They could definitely do some damage. But of course, you know, 4 Infestors are not the best against 10 Ultralisks and 44 Zerglings. Violet only has 3 Roaches. We look at those upgrades. They're currently only at 2-2, and he's going to run back in here. It looks like he is going to be able to snipe that hatchery. Stephano choosing to not try and save that with his drones or anything, just immediately evacuating them. And he only has 36 drones, so that was probably a wise choice. And Stephano, having had a victory back home, immediately pulling all his Zerglings back. Now he is going to be going ahead and trying to do some work against these Roaches here, but unfortunately he does not have detection. Is he going to grab an Infestor and go ahead and fungal those? It looks like no. He's going to be headed over here and said he does not want to lose his base, as it is going to be his lair. He doesn't really want to lose his Spire either. It looks like he's just trying to get rid of Infestors on all front, burrowed units, annoying the heck out of him. And is he going to lose this? It's down to 103 health. It's down to 8 health, and yes, it does fall. So wow, both players actually only on 2 bases. Stephano only on 1 base. Oh my god. And he's officially not really mining. We see both players' incomes dropping almost completely. And actually, Stephano's income hits 0. He is long distance mining here, but he actually doesn't have a base up from which to mine to. All these drones eagerly awaiting the return of their minerals with their claws sitting right here as soon as the expansion is up. But oh my god, Stephano, if we look at the supply, has actually a huge advantage over his opponent. He has almost a 50 supply advantage. He has 14 Ultralisks versus 4 Roaches, a Muta, and 11 Infestors. And considering Infestors don't actually stop Ultralisks, no matter how many Infested Terran they throw out, Stephano should be able to bust through there. Is he going to try and go through here? Is he just going to run through the front? It looks like he's just going to go ahead and run through the front. Are we going to see him break it? This is very well Sim City, but oh my god, those Ultras do so much damage in Stephano. Just barging his way in here. We see him move clicking probably somewhere back here, trying to get the Ultras in to do maximum damage. And Violet's supply plummeting, his drones holding position, trying to mess with the AI of the Ultras, but all of Violet's attacking units are going to die, throwing up a whole bunch of Infested Terran up here. But watch, the Ultras are just going to cleave through those so quickly, and Stephano's own Infested Terran doing a lot of work right there. Violet down to 33 supply. His only remaining units are really his Infestors, and there is the GG. Well played. So, what did I tell you guys, ladies and gentlemen? This is going to be one great series. And this is only game number 1, so I'm going to be bringing you guys game number 2 and game number 3 in just a second. Game number 2 should be linked right where you see those Infestors and Infested Terran in the black in the bottom of the screen. Click on it, watch my video, like, subscribe. Thanks very much for watching. See you in a second. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. And by afternoon, I mean 1 o'clock in the morning. Good morning, everyone. LX StarCraft here, bringing you guys another StarCraft 2 commentary. This is going to be Game 2 in this best of 3 series from the group stages of this past weekend's Red Bull Battlegrounds tournament in Austin, Texas. 16 players, invite only, round robin pools. Everyone plays everyone. Top 2 from each of the 4 pools advance into a bracket. A championship bracket, and I believe it was one of those formats where it's like player 1 from Pool A, or first from Pool A plays second from Pool D, first from Pool D plays second from Pool A, and same with B and C. And then, of course, things end up happening, and there is indeed a winner, which I might show you later on, but we have 2 very, very good Zerg players who did very, very well this weekend from what I've heard. But, of course, when you put 2 really good players next to each other and have to see how they do, it is quite a toughie. So we did see in the last game a very interesting game where both players were actually not really mining at the end or for like any of the game. It was just like the armies they had at the 15-minute mark were the armies they had when the game ended. We're gonna have to see, are we gonna see something similar this game? But we already see a bit of a departure. We see Violet, of course, not building a